Hello. Hi. I want to talk about my challenges of being a homeowner, like the challenges that I've faced with being a homeowner. Okay. The first one that I'll talk about, people might the first thing that people think that is challenging with being a homeowner is because I live alone. I live by myself. So everybody's like, wow, you live in this house by yourself, in this whatever by yourself, and everybody's like, wow, I'm tough, But to me, I don't look at it like it's tough at all because for the past forever, I've always lived by myself, like in my one bedroom apartments, in my two-bedroom apartment, in all the apartments that I lived in, I lived alone. So I always had the same feeling or the same sense of lonesomeness. So it's like I've always like been a loner. So it's like when people are like, "Oh, you live in this house by yourself." It's like it doesn't feel that different to me from when I was in my one bedroom apartment. It's the same thing, I just always was by myself. So it's like, nah, it's the same thing. But like, aren't you scared? I'm like, scared of what? Like, nothing's going to happen. It's like everybody's like, wow, you're tough. I'm like, well, I guess I was tough when I was in my one bedroom apartment, I guess. But I don't get that feeling of fear or anything at all, and not trying to invite anything. But there have been times when I've slept and left my garage door open. I've left some of my door open. It's like, I mean, I always sleep with my bedroom door closed, but sometimes I've left some of my, I'm not inviting anybody. Don't try it. You know, shit. You never know what I have in here to protect myself. But anyways, I don't worry so much about that. There are other things, however, that are challenging for me, that have been challenging for me as a homeowner. Okay, so I'm gonna start first of all with doing the lawn. Okay, so it's like during the summer when my lawn starts to grow, when everybody else's lawn starts to grow, my neighbors do a great job. Obviously, they're a little older than me. They've had homes a little longer than me. I came here when they were already here, and it looks like they're very good with keeping their grass and their lawn. It's like I had to learn how to take care of the lawn. Actually, I don't really know how to do it. I had to find some people who can do my grass. And I remember one time I tried to do my grass and I was using the wrong tool. I was using like what you call it, an edger. I was using the edger to try and trim my whole grass, and I'm telling you, I did it for like 2 hours. The battery ran out. I had to come and charge it, wait for it to charge up, and go back out there. And my neighbor looked at me and was like, girl, you're just doing too much work. If you want to do your lawn, just borrow my lawnmower. 5 minutes, you'll be done. I was like, well, thank you so much. Well, apparently, it's like you need to learn the right tools, and it's like I don't even know. And the last time I tried to use the lawnmower by myself, it is actually very heavy. It's so heavy. The one he has is so heavy. I don't know if there are any ones, if all of them are that heavy and difficult to push, but it was hard. It's hard work. Nobody tells you how difficult it is. Even though my lawn is like a relatively small area, it's not like it's a lot of work, or it's not a very big loan, but it's still a loan that I'm responsible for. So it's like it's not easy trying to do my loan by myself. So I hired some people who come out once a week or once every 2 weeks, or however often I call them. They come out and they help me, and I pay them, of course. So they do my grass, they cut my grass. And another thing with that is sometimes they won't show up. Like if they feel like they don't want to show up, or they're having people paying them higher, or whatever the case might be, they're making a lot of money, they might not want to come into you. So I've had at least one guy who was coming, and then after some time he just didn't show up. He had told me one time that he was coming, and he didn't even come. Like he just stopped coming, and he didn't have the courtesy to let me know, oh, I can't make it, or I don't want to come anymore. And my grass was like, getting taller and taller. And I'm like, if you can't come, let me know. Let me find somebody else. I know how to go online and look for somebody else, but you need to tell me because I don't want to get dinged by the HOA saying like I've kept my lawn and it looks bad or whatever, and they'll charge me or something, just let me know. That's all. But that's fine. And then another thing too that I'm kind of learning or having to do by myself is I need to water my lawn too. And I've never ever set up like the thing. I don't know how to set it up. I don't know how to turn on the sprinkler. That's something that I'm trying to figure out, trying to see who I can get to come and help me set it up. I don't know how to set up my sprinkler. Okay, I bought the sprinkler head, and I don't know how to attach the hose. I don't even know where is the source of the water supposed to come from, really. I'm sure I have a water outlet in the back of my house, but I don't really know none of that. I'm intimidated to go and look at it. I'm honestly like scared because I don't know how to. I feel like I need to maybe ask a neighbor to help me out, but I have no idea how it works, how to use it. It's just like an area that intimidates me right now, but I know I need to do it because my grass is beginning to have some patches here and there, and I know I need to water it, you know, and stop depending on rain. And then another thing that is intimidating as a homeowner, what else is there? There's several things that are intimidating. Um, Having to change my filter, the filter downstairs. I had to figure out how to change the filter, and also having to replace my thermostat. I decided that I wanted to upgrade it and put a nicer one. That took a while because all the technicians that I brought here did not even know how to install it, because this is like what do you call it, it's like a green one or whatever, like a fancier one, and all of them don't know how to do it. So I called several and they don't know, and luckily the people who own the company did walk me through installing it, so I had to go through all of that. I know that, with all the stress that I'm getting from all these issues, I know that I'm learning and developing, like, learning some new skills. But honestly, being a homeowner is not that easy. I mean, it's not hard or stressful. I love that I get to wake up by myself and I'm like, this is my house. It feels good. But there's certain aspects of it that's like intimidating a little bit. Like when it comes to stuff that you don't know, you have no clue. It's like, it's scary. Oh my goodness. And there was one night that I almost burned down my house. A couple of weeks ago, I went to bed and I left some eggs boiling. And I got up to the smell of smoke throughout the house. Like my house looked like it was about to burn. Like there was a smell of my alarms went off. And I know that that thing was loud. Like it was so loud that I know that it woke my neighbors up. But it was like I came downstairs to smoke all over the house, throughout the house, and I turned the thing off. I had to open all the doors to let some of the smoke out, open the air suctions, turn on air suctions on every level to try and suck some of that smoke out. My house was looking like it was ready to burn down, like any minute, like it would have burned down. I was honestly like so intimidated and so scared, and I was like, wow, life is so flimsy. I could have been gone. Like anything, these things, this is how they happen. You inhale so much smoke and you can die in your sleep. You just never know. Life is crazy, man. So now every time at night, if I'm like trying to cook something, what I do is I leave the lights in the kitchen on, and I don't turn the lights in the kitchen off unless I'm ready to go to bed, and I turned all the and I turned the stove off. The only time I turn the lights off in the kitchen, so I leave the lights on because I won't go to bed with the lights on anywhere. Before I go to bed, I turn the lights off everywhere. So at night, if I'm cooking something back there, I leave the lights on in there. That way, it reminds me to go back in there and find out why I have the lights on. So now every night before I go to bed, I double check the stove, make sure that there's nothing on. Like, I don't play with that. Like, I double and triple check and make sure. Like, even when I turn it off, sometimes I'll be in my bed and I'll still wake up and come down just to check it and make sure that I don't have anything on the stove. That's a scary thing, man. You can burn the house down, and then if I burn my house down, I will affect the neighbor's house. It's like, it's scary. It's like, it's crazy scary. Super scary. Yeah, man. I feel like that's not just something that can happen to a homeowner. It could happen to you if you live in an apartment. It can happen to anyone. You could burn down the house. It's crazy. And it just within like the blink of an eye, life can just be gone. And and a lot of the time I always think like, what would happen, if I'm no longer here? Like things like that, if they happen, like it makes you like stop and think like, what would happen? And then I'm just like, well, at least I'm going to be leaving something for my brothers and sisters. I'm leaving a house, I'm leaving some land that I have back home, and I plan to continue buying more land. I plan to just like continue to, find ways to grow. Like, before I leave this earth, I want to make sure that I at least leave something behind for my family, for my brothers and sisters and their kids. Yeah.